What's up, everybody? My name is Chris Bailey, and I want to welcome you to Truth Positive. The positive truth for the day is in 1 John chapter 2. 1 John chapter 2, and it's in verse number 1. Let's read what it says. It says, "My little children, these things write I unto you, that ye sin not. And if any man sin, we have an advocate with the Father, Jesus Christ the righteous." We have an advocate. And what I like to understand this is as a public advocate. I spent some time working for the Court of Justice when we lived in Kentucky. And so I got familiar with the legal process. And I know most of us have probably seen it on TV, or maybe some of us had to walk with it ourselves. But when you can't afford your own defense, you're given by the court what's called a public defender or a public advocate. And that's someone who is there to stand and to speak in your defense. And it's especially important that you usually go that route when you don't have the money to pay for your own legal team or legal defender. And the thing that's beautiful about this verse is that John reminds us that we have an advocate. And this advocate, Jesus Christ, is working for us pro bono. He knows that we not only cannot afford our defense, that even if we were able to pay the fine for our guilt, let's say we were found guilty and the fine was whatever, we still couldn't afford it. So we can't afford our defense and we can't afford our deliverance. And so the beautiful thing about it is that we have a God who sent his son, Jesus Christ, who was willing to defend us, not on the basis of our guilt or innocence, but when it talks about Jesus in that verse, it says, Jesus Christ, the righteous. Jesus defends us. He delivers us on the basis of his righteousness. So when we go before the judge, when we go before the law that condemns us, Jesus is able to speak in our defense and say, on the basis of what I have done, I defend them. So what does all that mean? Because I know a lot of you probably heard that before. What that is telling us is this, that one of the things that Jesus asked us to do, the only way we would come and seek defense is if we recognize our own guilt. And one of the things that we as sinners love to do is to make excuses for why we do what we do, not realizing that our real issue is not what we do. Our issue is who we are. And that's why we do what we do. And until you recognize that, you own that, the Bible says, confess that to God. You can't take advantage of this free legal defense. You can't take advantage of the help that's only for those who are helpless. Always remember, you're going to hear this a lot. The only thing you need to qualify for grace is guilt. Because grace is unmerited favor. You don't deserve it. And if you deserved it, then you don't need grace. But if you're like me, you have to understand, and I had to learn, that when I recognized who I was not, it was only then that God could be who he is. And that's Jesus, the righteous. And 1 John tells us it's free of charge. That's why we want to be quick to confess, admit our wrong, so that Jesus can make it right.